Round two. Ding ding. Chording. So in our last lesson, we talked about the 1, 4, and 5 chords and why those are so common. Remember, those ones just happen to be the ones that are major, so they're just really handy when we're playing a happy major song like Twinkle Twinkle, Mary Had a Little Lamb. If we're playing a song that is supposed to be minor, if it's sad, if it's dramatic, if it's mysterious, then obviously those will not be our choices. But for right now, I just decided to kind of start out with the more major side of things. So in the key of C, we've got the C chord, the F chord, and the G chord. Those are 1, 4, 5. I would like to point out the fact that that's only true if we're in the key of C. If you've learned about keys and key signatures, you know that there are many different families of notes. The C family is all white keys. It doesn't have any black keys. It's just C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. If we're working with a different key, and I'll demonstrate this really quick, the 1, 4, and 5 chords are still the chords we're going to want, but the 1, 4, and 5 chords are just going to be different chords. It's kind of like if you meet somebody in America, you want to say hello, right? But if you meet somebody in Spain, instead of saying hello, you'll say hola, right? Hello in Spanish. Presumably, I mean, I don't live in Spain, but I guess that's what they say. So anyways, when we are switching into a different key, it's kind of like switching into a different language. That's one analogy you could use. So for example, the G family is all white keys except we have replaced an F with an F sharp. I could do a whole nother lesson about why, but I'm not going to do that. That's the G major scale. So the note F doesn't exist. I say it's lava, right? Don't touch it. And so what would the 1 chord be here? It would be the G chord. You're like, but wait, Teacher Macy, you said that the G chord was the 5 chord. Yeah, that was when we were in the land of C major. When we were in, you could say C major is America. And, here we are in America. We've got 1, 4, 5. But now we have flown across the ocean in an airplane. Now we're in Spain. What is the new 1 chord? The new 1 chord is the G chord. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're basing the 1 chord off of the 1 from that scale, from that family. So, what's the 4 chord in the G major family? The C chord. What's the 5 chord? If you said this, you're wrong. Ha ha ha. Why are we wrong? I mean, well, it looks like the 5 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, is that not the 5 chord? Well, it kind of is, but it's kind of not, because what do we say about the note F? F is lava, and we can't touch it. We have replaced it with an F sharp. And immediately you can see the difference there. It just brightens right up, and you're like, oh, wow. Now it's a major chord, so I've got a 1, 4, 5, da 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 da, ba, 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 yeah. I mean, heck, you could pause the video right now and play around with that a little bit. And any key that you want, like if you know any other keys, you could try this in other keys. This is so much fun. You can even try playing the root note in the left hand. When I say the root note of a chord, like if I'm talking about a C chord, the root note is C. So you could do. There's a lot of different stuff you could do with just those 3 chords. You can mix them up. You can add cool rhythms. You could go down to like a really low, or there's just a zillion different combinations. You can even play the right hand. Do I have to press all 3 notes at the same time? No. I could do something like a broken chord. So I could do,
So these are just all ideas about ways you can play around with this. Alrighty. I had to pause the recording because my laptop battery was low, but I'm back. So anyways, this is just kind of like freestyle chording. We're not trying to put the chords in with a song. We're just kind of making stuff up, and that's fun too. But anyway, so coming back to using chords in songs, the 1-4-5 is good to know. One of the things I wanted to talk about in this lesson is the concept of chord inversions. So what does the word invert mean? When I invert something, like think about if you've ever seen an hourglass, or, you know, a lot of times we've seen like a board game, like one of those smaller ones where it's like a minute or 2 minutes or something, like a timer. To invert means to flip it upside down. And so I like to use my whiteboard here to teach inversions, and this is nifty. I'm going to use 3 different colors. I'll use blue and draw a circle. All right, so that represents C. Just picked a random color. And then this one right here represents E. And then let's use green, I guess. And can you guess? This one represents G. So I got C, E, G, just like that. And in fact, I'll even write them in for us. Oops, no. I selected the pencil. Obey me, computer. So I've got C, E, and G. Now, these are the components of a C major chord. And I like to use the analogy, too, of something like a banana split. You've had a banana split, probably, or something like that, some sort of ice cream dish. All right, so let's say that we got some ice cream, okay? We got a banana, right? And some chocolate sauce, lastly. Why is it not drawing? That one. There we go. All right, so ice cream's on the bottom, then we got a banana, then we got some chocolate sauce. What if I switched those? What if I put them in a different order into the bowl? So if I start with, I just realized that doing this with colors is kind of clunky and irritating. Regret. I now regret my actions. I've got the G first, all right, and then the, oops, no, I selected the wrong one, C, the colors, that was a bad idea. Now I have the C, and now I have the E. Now what have I done? You're saying, what have you done? First of all, Teacher Macy, your circles are awkward and wonky. I'm sorry, okay? I'm struggling. So now instead of having ice cream, banana, chocolate sauce, now we have chocolate sauce, ice cream, banana. See, I'm having a hard time even remembering what each thing is. But anyways, it does not matter. If it's all in the bowl, right? It's the same dish. Nobody's going to say, wow, I really like this tuna salad. Like, no, ew, what? This is still an ice cream sandwich, or not a, what did I say? A banana split, right? It doesn't matter which order the notes go in. So I ask students often, I'll say, aha, C, E, G. What kind of chord is that? And they say, oh, that's the C chord. And I say, sure, good. Then I say, ooh, what about this? E, G, C. What kind of chord is that? Without fail, 90% of my students will say, it's an E chord. And I say, no. Your brain is trying to make a pattern right here and just say, oh, the lowest note is the name of the chord. That's only true when the chord is stacked very beautifully as a triad in this shape with the 1, 3, 5. That's oftentimes true. But anyway, so let's try this. I want you to pause the video here, and I want you to see how many shapes you can make with a C chord, all right? So pause the chord. Remember, your notes are C, E, and G. How many different styles of a C chord can you make? All right, so if your answer was 3, you are correct. We've got this one, which is called the root chord. We would call this the first inversion, and we would call this the second inversion. I like to trick students and say, so then what do we call that? And they'll say the third inversion, and I say false. That's just the root position again, remember, because it's C, E, G. So we've got a root first, second, root first, second. Now, go ahead and pause the video again, and I want you to practice playing those all the way up and back down the piano with your right hand or your left hand. Actually, you choose. All right. So how did that feel? Is it weird? It is a little bit weird at first. Something that takes practice. This is something I would love for you to try out with several different chords this week. That's some homework for you. Try this with a G chord. Try it with a D major chord if you can figure out what that is. And so actually, some food for thought. All right. Well, happy practicing and happy experimenting.